All right, we're recording. Welcome to Fresno City Toastmasters. I'm your president, Fanny Jacobson. We always start off our meetings reading our mission statement. And welcome to our guests, Leah and Christy. Yeah, so let's start off with our mission statement. It's in the bottom left corner of your agenda if you want to follow along. It says we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. And Leah, I know you're joining us from Long Beach, I think you said. So that's really exciting. And hopefully we can help you with your public speaking. But yeah, feel free to keep your videos and mics muted if you so desire. Otherwise, we would love to see your face. As for our business, I really don't have any new business. Any board members know of anything?
No, I don't think so. Not yet.
Yeah, but we're back. Welcome back, everybody. Hope everyone had.
Welcome back, everybody.
Yeah. Sweet. And just to go over some Zoom housekeeping rules, instead of applause, we do our jazz hands, and keep yourself muted unless you're called upon, or during table topics, we also like to unmute so there's more interaction. And if you do need to get up and move around, please turn your video off so it's not a distraction. Other than that, I think we can get started. I'll turn it over to the Toastmaster of the day, Joey Myers.
Thank you, Farron. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, guests. And is it Leah? How do you say that?
It's Leah.
Leia, like Princess Leia.
Mm-hmm.
All right, very cool. Welcome. And Christy, welcome. I am the Toastmaster of the day, which I will introduce our theme of our meeting. And we always have a different theme as we go. And I like this one. I brought this PDF up to our agenda this morning and saw New Year Who Dis. So who dis can mean, I guess, a couple different things. Who dis is maybe who this is, could be who I am or who you are. It could be who dis, mean you diss somebody, like you did somebody wrong. Could be either one of those. I looked at that as more of who dis, as in New Year, who's the new you. We mentioned New Year's resolution. Some people don't really like the New Year's resolutions. I like more goals. I like more sprints, the 30-day, 60-day, 90-day goals, and having somewhat measurable goals. And for myself, and I'm sure maybe Taylor is going to play on this or for table topics today. But for me, I mentioned before we broke 2 weeks ago that I'm working on just some things in my business. And one is the financial side of things. I'm working on a book, or I finished the book finally, called Profit First. Recommend for anybody out there, not just for business, but it's great for personal too. It's similar to what's his name? Is it David Ramsey, the Christian financial guy? I think it's David. I think I called him Robert last time. I think it's Dave Ramsey. And it's similar with the envelopes and things like that, but a little bit more sophisticated business-wise. Has to do with creating different categories in your bank, different accounts and things like that. So that's one of my biggies for New Year Who Dis, as in who dis this business is what we're going to do this year. So with that, I will introduce our general evaluator of the day, who will introduce her team, and that is Ms. Denny Mason.
Hi all, Happy New Year. I'm going to introduce all the who dis for our team. Evaluation is a really important part of what we do, and we do this with a spirit of helping each other to get better. So there's no criticism. We're not hard on you. Everything here is just to make us get better, including the people who are evaluating. Our first evaluator today is our grammarian, who is Heather Davis.
Thank you, Denny. So today I thought we could do something a little bit different, a little bit fun. The word of the day is kerfuffle. It is a noun and it means a commotion or fuss, especially one caused by conflicting views. So the first thing that came to my head was there was a kerfuffle over the election. I just thought it would be a fun word to use. So hopefully you guys can use it in your table topics whenever you guys talk today. Thanks, Denny.
Thank you, Heather. And our next evaluator is, well, you're in our evaluation team. You're the counter, Brent.
Hello, everyone. I'll be the all counter today. And of course, during the words, I'll be counting words and phrases that may be used inappropriately or unnecessarily, including and, well, but, so, or or. So I will be tracking that during our meetings today.
Thank you, Brent. And our timer for today is Chanel.
Hello guys, I'm going to be the timer today. I was trying to use the screens that Winnie, one of our Toastmaster members, sent us this past week, but for some reason they are not working on my computer. It's really blurry. So I'm just going to be using the old-fashioned phone method. I will be timing everybody's speeches and evaluations and table topics today. So speakers get 5 to 7 minutes to give their speech. For table topics, it's 1 to 2 minutes. And for speech evaluations, it is 2 to 3 minutes. So speakers, when you reach the 5-minute mark, which is the minimum time, I will show my phone at 5 minutes. When you reach 6 minutes, I will show in the middle. And then when you reach 7 minutes, I will show again. Same for table topics at 1 minute, 1.5, and 2 minutes. Thank you.
Thanks, Chanel. That's our evaluation team. And then we'll be looking forward to some reports. I'll call on you at the end of the meeting. We also have Farron as our Zoom master. And Farron, would you like to just tell us a little bit about what that job entails, knowing that somebody else will be doing that someday?
Of course. Hi, I'm Farron. I'm your Zoom master of the day. We used to have someone who would record the speeches and the evaluations, and then they would send a link so that you could watch yourself during your speech. Now we just record the entire meeting. So I like to spotlight the speakers so that they show up really big on the screen. And then when I do upload it to YouTube later, the main speaker is the one who is showing. And you can always go back and watch yourself speak or give an evaluation, or even if you want to go back and watch your table topics, I provide the link to everybody in the email for next week's agenda. So you can go back and take a look at that. That's my job for the day.
Thank you, Farron. And now we'll turn it back over to our Toastmaster, Joey Myers.
Thank you, Denny. Way to introduce the team. And this is the portion where we usually have a couple speeches. Today we have one speech that Sonia is going to be doing, and I will introduce her. And then we will, after the Sonia speech, jump into table topics. So let me introduce Sonia here. I have her info. Sonia has been with Toastmasters since October 15th, 2019. So she's well over a year now, well-seasoned Fresno City Toastmasters vet. She's the current treasurer for the club. And thank you, Sonia, for that, for taking over that for me. Treasurer, and is working on the leadership development pathway to improve her leadership and speaking skills. The title of her 8th speech is The 7 Reading Habits of Successful People. I want you to put your hands to welcome Sonia and her speech, again titled The 7 Reading Habits of Successful People. Go ahead, Sonia, take it away.
Oh, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters. So as you can see, at Toastmasters, it's part of our self-development, as we talked about, learning to read and, well, not read, but speak clearly. And I just scooped that up. So anyway, reading. Reading is a part of self-improvement. And as you can see behind me, that's my television right there. So you see that I have my back turned to my TV because I was reading. And reading is really extremely important, ladies and gentlemen. So you might wonder, okay, big deal, TV. So what I've learned is that if you cut 4 to 6 hours from watching television and instead focus on reading, reading will help your self-development, really will. And so I'd like to start off with a quote. by Napoleon Hill. The person who stops studying merely because they have finished school is forever hopelessly doomed to mediocrity, no matter what their calling is. And that is very true. And Terry Savelle Foy of Terry Savelle Foy Ministries has talked about how when she graduated from college in Texas, she stated that she made a stupid statement to her family and friends. And she said, "Oh, I will never forever pick up another book. I'm done studying. I'm done reading." Big mistake, because God had other plans for her. So let me get started. The 7 reading habits of successful people. Number 1, they are intentional about what they read. Number 2, they're selective about what they read. Number 3, they read to grow. Number 4, they read to save time and money. Number 5, they read to be inspired. And number 7, they apply what they read. And that is extremely important. So let's get started with number 1. They are intentional about reading. And so reading is an investment in yourself, just like we're all doing right now in Toastmasters, investing in ourselves. And it also starts with reading for 20 minutes. Try to read for 20 minutes. Even if you can't do 20 minutes, you can do 10, 15 minutes, or even read 10 pages at the most. Number 2, they're selective about what they read. A book is literally the advice or experience of some person, the wisdom from someone that you admire. And Joey just mentioned Dave Ramsey. And so I picked up his books last year, right here, Dave Ramsey's, just to work on my financial goals. And so number 2 is talking about, you're selective about what you're reading. And so he talked about, and the reason why I chose Dave Ramsey is because what took him in 20 years can probably help you out in a month. He filed for bankruptcy. He talks about all of his money mistakes. So that right there, you're selective about what you read. So I decided to read Dave Ramsey. So number 3, you read to grow. And I really like this. I think parents with their kids, because John Maxwell, he was a pastor, but now he is in leadership and speaking. He has his own company called John Maxwell Company. And so what he talks about is how when he and his brother and sister were growing up, his father literally didn't pay them to do chores, take out the trash like kids would normally do. His father would pay him, his brother and sister to read. He would literally pay them to read for 30 minutes. And it couldn't just be any book. It had to be a book of substance. Even if it was like their homework, a book that they had to read, but usually their father would pick the book for them and he would pay them an allowance by reading. So he said that by the time he and his brother and sister had graduated from high school, they were already ahead of their peers because of all the reading they had done. So number 4, they read to save time and money. Read to save time and money is to be learning from other people's successes, their failures. Like I said, right here with the Dave Ramsey, learning about his successes, his failures with finance, if you're really serious about taking care of your finances. Number 5, they seize every moment to learn. Again, I stated 20 minutes at the beginning, 20 minutes, not just to read something, but to actually learn something from what you read. Number 6, they read to be inspired. So what inspires a successful person to read? Reading inspires us with stories of courage, bravery, and endurance. It allows us to see, like work on our challenges and imagine our life from another angle. And so number 7, they apply what they read. They don't just read a book and then just say, well, I'm done reading this book. So I just finished reading this book, so I'm done with it. No, you go over and over it again. And I've been told by one of my mentors that when you're done reading a book, you go back and you study it and you study it and you study it some more, so that you just don't read a book to finish, but to take something away from it. And so, ladies and gentlemen, reading is to the mind what exercise is to the body. Great readers see the brain as a muscle that needs to be worked, and it really does. So what I would like to leave you with is set goals for yourself to read, whether it's 20 minutes, if you can do 20 minutes per day, or read 10 pages, a book per month, a book per week, and make it a priority. And you will see how that will change your life. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Sonia. I will save, usually I like to give a couple things after this, but I have your evaluation, so I'm gonna leave you in suspense. Let's say that, Sonia. Great work on this speech. All right, now, since Sonia was our only speech today, we are going to move on to our table topics portion of the meeting. So I will allow Taylor to talk a little bit about what table topics is and what we try and accomplish there. And then she will introduce what our table topics will be. So Taylor, you get the mic.
Great. Hi. Hi, everyone. So table topics are an opportunity to respond to impromptu questions, and they challenge participants to organize their thoughts quickly. Responses should be kept to 1 to 2 minutes, and we encourage guests and new members to participate. In brainstorming these questions, I was inspired by the spirit of the New Year's resolution. Every 12 months, we get this opportunity to create new goals and try different things and reinvent ourselves. I think it's a really fun time to pursue different interests. So the first question is, if you could drop everything and pursue a new career or trade, what would it be and why? And I'll put that in the chat. And then the second question is, what skill or hobby are you hoping to learn in 2021? Any volunteers? All right.
Really interesting. This is interesting to me because Sonia's speech really hit home for me. For one, I'm an avid reader. Two, my daughter gave a gift at Christmas that I thought was one of the most thoughtful and personal gifts. She bought a book of poems for one of her best friends. And throughout the book, she made notes. She did some annotation throughout with and flagging certain pages. And then she pointed out to her friend how it reminded her of her, or just a shared memory that they had that it reminded her. And it made me think about the books that hold meaning to me that were passed down from my mom, and how enjoyable it was to fall upon a highlighted line that my mom made, and she's no longer with us. So it's like being visited by her and seeing that sentence or paragraph meant something to her. And so I just share that with you all because it's one of those things too, that as a gift to someone, if finances are hard and you have a favorite book and you know someone that would love it, do that. Take it, highlight portions of it, put a little message in there and personalize it to a friend. I'm not going to have a problem reading for my New Year's resolution because I already left that. But I'm just looking forward to the new year in general. And so that's it.
Thanks,
I like
Denise.
that, Denise.
I'll go.
Heather.
So it is funny that you all bring up reading, and that being the topic today, because if I could pursue a different career, my heart has always been, I've always been in love with writing, and I've always wanted to be an author. And I'm actually, as a hobby, hopefully one day be a career. I am working on a blog. So hopefully one day it'll be up and running with all my different writings. I like to do fictional and non-fictional. I can't decide. I like to do it all. But I am currently working on the blog, and it's called Stressed Out Sisters. So when it's up and running, I'll definitely be sending you guys the link. But yeah, writing has always been a passion for me, and I want to pursue that more this year. I think it's been calling my name for a long time, and I convinced myself that it wasn't something that I could do like professionally. But now that I'm 27 and I have a better understanding of life, honestly, that the only person that's holding me back is myself. So this year I'm going to really be pursuing that goal, and I'm really excited to see where that goes.
Yay, Heather.
Thanks, Heather. Be sure to send us that blog.
Yes, I would like to read it.
Will do. Thanks.
Anyone else?
I'm available.
Storm.
Hey, Storm.
All right. So I'm out on the walk on this, before I turn the camera. So I'm out on a walk with my dad. We walk every day, or we're trying to walk every day for just health, to get those 6,000 steps that our phone says that we're supposed to do. If I could start another career, I think the smartest thing right now to do is to go into computer science. I look up to Elon Musk, and he has more computer engineers than anything else in his company. I don't know the numbers, but I think that he has more computer engineers than he has robots building these cars. It is something that everybody has, these tiny little robots that they're stuck in servers, they're stuck in your cell phone. And here in the next 15 or 20 years, we're going to have a spike in robotics where we have a larger form of manufacturing. And I think, and I feel with my engineer mind, there is a huge potential, huge opportunity to actually grow and find a new career that I actually love. And what I'm in now, most of you guys know what I'm in now. I'm in ultrasound, and I have a big test coming up. So that is another side of who I am, is I like to help people. The other side is I like structural engineering. So, all right, and that's it for me.
Hey, Storm, good luck with that.
We learned a lot about you in about 2 minutes.
All right.
This is Denny.
Denny.
So Storm, I'm looking forward to Elon Musk getting a Texan accent. This year, I'm already kind of excited because they're talking about what everybody was doing during the pandemic, which was making babies. So I'm looking forward this next year to an absolute barrage of newborn baby portraits. I'm coming up with some promo, and I'm going to figure that out. we have a whole new generation coming up, all because of the pandemic. It's great. Thank you.
I love that.
Thanks, Denny.
I can go next.
Janelle.
I typically avoid actually making New Year's resolutions because it's really cliche, and of course I want to be different. So I have to make resolutions in like July or something, not in January. But what I've done for the past couple of years is, rather than making some sort of self-improvement resolution necessarily, I think of some fun activities or really small short-term goals that I would like to participate in. So far on my list for 2021, I have 2 things. The first one is to go skydiving. My Christmas gift this year was my family went in to get me a skydiving gift certificate. So I'm planning on going sometime in the next few weeks.
Exciting.
And my number 2 thing, which I think I've already talked about, is to do my first self-planned overnight backpacking trip in the mountains and hike Mount Whitney while doing that. So those are two things that are not overly stressful. They're just one-time events, but they help me to look forward to the year knowing that I have some fun things planned.
Oh, Chanel, good luck with that. Oh, the skydiving sounds so exciting. I know, Joey, you talked about not doing that because you would rather be with sharks.
Shark diving. Yeah. No, I'm not jumping out of a plane. You can do that, Chanel.
Looking forward to it.
I'll go, Taylor.
Great, thanks.
So it was a little kerfuffle the other day between our two little humans. One's 8, one's 4, and the little girl started crying. They were, Grammy and Pa was over, were over, and I think it was right after lunch or so. And they were on their devices for lunch, and then they have to get off and play with Grammy and Pa, or else they go home. So the little one was crying. Ask her what happened. Well, brother didn't help me do such and such. She'll ask him, give me a new skin, which is, they have certain characters on their game, and it's new clothes, right? That's what skin means. So he wouldn't do it because she asked him every time. So she was crying. So I come over, and this is the new skill based on delegation for me. So I told him the story of the feed the man a fish every day, or teach the man to fish so he can feed him for a lifetime. And I looked at brother and I said, brother, do you like when she comes up to you every single time and asks you to do something, the same thing every day? Could you imagine doing that every day? And he's like, oh. And I go, what would be a better way to do this? And he thought about it. I go, a better way where you wouldn't have to keep telling the same person the same thing every day. And he said, well, teach him. I said, yeah, teach her what you're doing. So this is where the skill this year that I'm really learning to do better is to delegate. When it comes to business, is I can't do everything myself, and that I have to teach somebody else to do it so that they can take some of the slack of what I was doing, or take off the plate of what I was trying to do. So in 2021, besides the financial side, is I want to get into delegating a lot better. Thank you.
It's a good goal. All right. Brent or Aaron, do you want to go?
I'll go ahead and go. So I've been involved in agriculture all my life, but one thing that I would like to do different, if I could pick up and do everything over again, is to become in law, not only constitutional law, but maybe, of course, agricultural law. Just solving kerfuffles in people's lives is always something that I'm very non-confrontational, but I also know that it's important to stand up for somebody that maybe has their back against the wall. So that's kind of a thing that has always intrigued me, is the law or politics also. So.
Do it, Brent.
I guess I can go now. All right, I'll go with the first question. If I could do a career change, what would I do? And I thought about that today. Actually, my friend posted a meme on Facebook, and it said, I can't believe that I used to wear actual clothes and drive to work every day. And I really love what I get to do. I'm a pet sitter, so I work from home. There are a few kerfuffles that happen between the dogs sometimes, but it's a pretty fun job. It's relaxed. I also teach yoga from home, which I can do on Zoom. But I thought over the weekend when I was in the Central Coast area, as you can tell, I have my dogs here stirring up some kerfuffles over there. I was in the Central Coast, and my boyfriend is really into cars. We saw this really interesting car called a Citroen, and there's like 4 available in the United States. And he started taking a video of it, and the owner of the car came out, and he told us that he had one back in Italy. And then when he moved to the United States, his dream was to get the same type of car. So it's a European car, and he started telling us more about it. He told us a little bit about his life in Italy and how he owns a Ferrari there, but he runs this cafe in Cambria. And I just thought, wow, I would love to sit down with this guy and learn his whole life story and then write about it. Like I want to go back to writing. My degree is in journalism. I was a journalist for half my life and I realized how much I miss it. So if I could do a career change, I would definitely go back to writing. Thanks.
Awesome. Do any of our guests want to share?
I can go. I don't mind.
All right.
Okay, so I think I'll go with the second question. What new skill or hobby are you hoping to learn in 2021? So when I had my children 16 months apart about 3 years ago, it was just one kerfuffle after the next for a really long time. So last year, with spending more time at home, I had more opportunity to connect with them. I had more opportunity to teach them things, as Joey mentioned, to delegate and show them how to do things for themselves. So then this year, they're now 4 and 3. They're a little bit more independent. So I feel like I have more of an opportunity to spend time on myself. So that's what I'm hoping to do in 2021. Invest in me and my growth, which is one of the reasons I wanted to turn to Toastmasters and try it out for a little bit. So that's my big focus for 2021. I want to focus on my career growth. To do that, I want to work on my public speaking skills. I want to work on my health. So yeah, in general, just focus on me a little bit more now that my kids are getting a little older and more independent, and I'm looking forward to that.
Thanks for sharing, Christy.
Thanks, Christy. And I think almost everyone went, so
Leah?
I guess I could go.
Yeah.
I'll answer the first question. I have a lot of different dreams and wish I could do 10 different careers, but right now I'm really interested in construction. So if I could drop everything, I think I would be like a contractor and build homes. This came about of having dreams about my dream home and kind of making it eco-friendly with lots of solar and gray water and using natural materials. And I've recently met a contractor who does that type of work in Three Rivers. So I've just been daydreaming about that. But if I could drop everything, and it might not be too late, I would go into that.
It's not too late, Taylor. Leah would be the only one, but she didn't have to go.
Everybody went, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just about everyone.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So Taylor, you want to turn it over to me? Or actually, me? No. I'm sorry. Denny.
Taylor, go ahead and bring it back to me, Denny.
Okay.
So the general evaluator. So you'll
General evaluator, yeah.
All right. Okay. Sorry, do I have to give you control or?
We'll just
just a little intro.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just a little transition.
Sorry, thanks. Okay. Next up, we have Denny, our general evaluator.
Thank you. Joey is evaluating our speech today that was given by Sonia. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Joey, for an evaluation.
Thank you, Denny. So here's ending all the drama, Sonia. So I get to go into how you did on your speech here. And like you said, I think it was speech 8, right? Speech 8. Yep.
I believe so, yes.
Speech 8. And in my notes, what she did well. Now I didn't get I know this was first of the year, first meeting of 2021. So you didn't send over a PDF, but that's fine. Most of them are pretty straightforward. So what you did well started with silence at the beginning, which piqued our interest. What is she doing? And we could tell it was on purpose. You weren't just stumbling or just sitting there like we call it a Patrick Star in our house, the Patrick Star stare, where it's at, you weren't doing that. It had a purpose to it, right? So it piqued our interest, and we found out that you were reading. and the title again being 7 Reading Habits of Successful People. So I liked how you started with that silence that you were reading. It was purposeful. So it got us to, what is she doing? And then you did like a demonstration using a visual aid. You announced that you got the TV behind you and you got your back to the TV because you're going to be talking about reading. So that's another good thing when you can put yourself in a environment or have like a backdrop that adds to what you're talking about. You also came up with the Napoleon Hill quote in the beginning. I always tell everybody it's great if you start a speech with one of three things. You can do all of them, but one of three things. You start with a question, asking the audience a question. That'll usually pique their interest and it also take the heat off of you because they'll go back into their own mind to answer that question. So their attention's not completely on you. So it's a good icebreaker if you're nervous before you give your speech. You can do a question, you can do a quote or an anecdote. And I think you did a little bit of everything there. Maybe not the question, but you had some stories and things like that. You said what you were going to say in the beginning. Organization of a speech, we always say that. Say what you're going to say it, or tell them what you're going to tell them what you just told them. You went into depth. You gave us the 7 things right off the bat, the topics, and then you went into depth on each of them. You used visual aids, bringing up the David Ramsey book, which was good. Used a great visual aid there. Great eye contact with the camera, I felt. Shining confidence really shows that you know what you're talking about. Much improved on this one with the crutch words. Much better. And then you mentioned takeaways at the end. Tell them what you just told them. So all great things. Now, what I think you could do better, now I'm being picky here because I feel like this was probably one of your better speeches. I think maybe do a little bit better. You did better not depending on your notes, but maybe using them a little bit less. So my challenge is, I don't know how your notes were that you were looking over to. I don't know if you drew them out more, you had more sentence structure to it, or you just had bullet points. But maybe, I'm assuming maybe there was more detail if you had bullet points in there, sentences and whatnot.
Yes.
But to be more, and maybe you didn't practice the speech enough to be able to go just based off your bullet points, but taking a 4 to 6 word bullet and being able to talk on that 4 to 6 word bullet. It's hard. It's a good challenge. It's a hard challenge, but I think it's one that you can do, especially being 8 speeches in. But I feel like overall improved 100%. So great work, Sonia.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joey. We're going to go on with the rest of our evaluation team here, and we'll start out with Chanel, who was our timer today. How did we do, Chanel?
Hello. Everybody did pretty good. Sonia, your speech was at about 7 minutes and 12 seconds, so you went over by a tiny bit, but really, really close. Much closer than I usually am. Joey, your evaluation was 3 minutes and 45 seconds, so a little bit over again. But as always, you have good stuff to say. And I'm just going to run down the list of the table topic times. Denise, you were at 1 minute, 45 seconds. Heather, 1 minute, 10 seconds. Storm, 1 minute, 10 seconds. Denny, you were at 30 seconds. Joey was 1 minute, 40 seconds. Brent was 30 seconds. Farron, 1 minute, 40 seconds. Christy was a minute 5, so right in there. Good job, Christy, for your first time. And Taylor was 50 seconds. Again, I apologize for having to show you my phone screen. I realize that it's kind of hard to see. I'm gonna have to figure out what the kerfuffle is between my computer and the colored slides so that I can have a better method next time. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chanel. And Brent is our odd counter today. Tell us what we did, Brent.
Well, everybody did a very good job. Sonia, I see you had one and had some long so's, but I think that just kind of led into your bullet points. So, I felt I had one when I gave my table topic. I felt myself say "ah," unfortunately one time, but everybody else did a great job.
Thank you, Brent. Is this the first time you're doing that report for us?
Second.
Second. Okay, great. Thank you. And Heather is our grammarian today. How did
Hello.
you do?
Let's see. Farron, you managed to get kerfuffle in there twice. Chanel and Christy, you managed to get a kerfuffle in there too. I didn't, but I think so far for 4, that wasn't too bad for our first meeting back.
Joey got it too, Heather.
Oh, I'm sorry, Joey. I missed that, and Joey, you too. Did I miss anybody? Nothing. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Heather. Today we did a great job on our overall meeting. Everybody jumped in. I think everybody had a chance to participate, which is wonderful. We're probably running a little bit even early today, which I'll let maybe Farron can fill in a little bit of time for us today. So overall, a great meeting, and I'm going to hand it back to our president, Farron.
Thank you, Denny. I agree. We had a really great meeting. We're maybe a little bit rusty because we had 2 weeks off and we're back at it, but I'm excited for everyone to be here. Really excited that we have 2 guests today. And this did give us a good idea of what a typical meeting runs like. Normally we have 2 speeches. We only had 1 today, so we had extended time for table topics, but it is very structured like this all of the time. We always have an evaluation of a speech, and the planned speeches follow different pathways. I'm not sure how familiar the 2 guests are, sorry, with Toastmasters, but we do have a curriculum. Give me just a second.
I'll take over for Farron. It was always, I'm sure that when she had it off, the dogs barked too, right? Did the dogs bark when it was off, or was it when you unmuted your mic, Farron?
Okay. Sorry about that. But anyways, pathways is a curriculum. There are 11 different paths in Toastmasters. They all give you a kind of a different variety of what your focus might be. And right now I'm doing humorous speaking. Sonia, I believe you're in a leadership style.
Leadership development.
Yeah, leadership development. So everyone is doing a little something different, but it gives you an idea of what your speech is supposed to be structured like, or what you're supposed to focus on. And that's, we just volunteer when we want to give our next speech, and I get you on a sign-up sheet. And you can also volunteer for the different roles, like we had table topics master, odd counter, general evaluator, all of those different types of things. And this is just what a typical meeting looks like. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you want to come back. For now, we will go over virtual stickers, virtual rewards. So one goes to Sonia for her speech today. And did we have any first timers on
Heather? Heather, maybe?
Go
Was
ahead,
this your
Joe.
first time doing table topics?
It was my first time
Or not
being the
table
grammarian, yeah.
Grammarian, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Virtual sticker to Heather.
And
for
Taylor,
first time
the
grammarian.
table topics, or have you done that before?
Yeah, that was my first time.
That was
Awesome.
the first time. There
Awesome
we go.
job, Taylor. You had really good questions. Virtual sticker to you as well. Do we have any birthdays that we missed or that are coming up? All right. And we'll fill out next week's agenda. Do we have a Toastmaster? Next week is January 12th, and the meeting theme is Butterfly Effect. Would anyone like to be Toastmaster? Denise? And Sarah could not give her speech today, so I'm moving her to next week, and then I'm scheduled to speak next week as well. Does anyone want to be a 3rd speaker? Anyone ready to give a speech? No. All right. Evaluators.
Yeah, I'll do it. I think I should.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Is that the icebreaker, Heather, or is that your second one?
My second one.
Second one, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, got you down. All right, so
Thank
we
you.
need 3 evaluators for those speeches.
Denny,
I can
Sonia,
be an evaluator.
and Chanel?
All right,
I'll
we
do
got
one.
Chanel, Sonia, and Denny.
Yep.
Got it. Table topics master.
Brent, did you want to try that?
I can do that.
Brent?
Brent. General evaluator.
I can do that, Farron.
Thanks, Joey. Grammarian.
Storm.
Yep. Go ahead and put me down. I have my
And
that was funny.
And then Taylor, what would you say, Farron?
Yeah,
Taylor?
I'm not sure that I'll be able to make next meeting, so I don't want to volunteer.
Okay,
Mhm.
got it.
I can do the odd counter also.
All right, thanks, Chanel. And a timer.
I can do that one, Farron.
Okay, thank you. Oh, Zoom Master as well.
Oh, let me do that one.
Okay.
And then somebody
Or
else
do you want
pick
to
up
click on
timer.
timer?
The timer.
Denise? Thanks.
Denise?
Yeah.
All right, and then January 19th, does anyone want to sign up for giving a speech?
I'll do a speech on that day.
Anyone else?
I'll
I
go.
can't. Oh, go ahead.
Either.
We can have
Taylor
three.
and Denny?
So which one?
Who was the other person?
We could do
Taylor.
2. We could do 3 on that day, like we're doing. Yeah.
Let's just do, it's okay. Who's the other person?
Taylor.
Taylor, good. I'll put mine off to the next week.
Okay, I'll write you down for that then.
And then put me down with Denny, please.
Got it. Yep. January 26th, Denny and Joey. Awesome. Any comments, questions, concerns from our guests or members?
I want to make sure that the guests got Denise's email, or that Denise got their email so they can be on the email list if they want to be. I don't know if Denise, if you talked to them about that.
Christy and Leah, did you guys?
Yes.
Denise?
I received Denise's email.
Okay, Leah? You can just type in the chat if you want, if you don't want to. Oh, there's her email.
Good.
So go ahead and email you, Leah.
Okay.
Okay. So you have that, Denise?
Yeah, I'm trying to capture it right now, but I'm going to give her mine as well.
Okay.
Awesome. And can you also tell us where you found us or how you found Fresno City Toastmasters? Just curious.
I found you on Meetup.
Meetup.
I think I found you guys on LinkedIn. I was Googling and I think I went on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Very cool.
Good to know.
Thank you, Chanel.
Yeah.
That's her work. That's her gifted hands work.
Yeah, Chanel.
All right. Anything else from our guests or members?
No, excited to start 2021.
Yes.
Thank you for letting me join in. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
you can
coming.
join.
I just want to say one thing to Christy, that you're working on yourself when your kids are 3 and 4, so young. I applaud you. That's something I didn't do until my kids were way older. It just, great idea. It's very important. We have
Thank
to
you.
be healthy and take care of ourselves to take care of others. So a lot of times as moms, we put ourselves so far back on the burner that we get lost. So I applaud you for that. It's great.
Thank you. Just trying to stay sane
Okay.
at
Yeah.
home.
We do what we can, right?
Awesome. Well, we're going to end a little bit early today then. We'll see you back on January 12th at noon. Bye.
All right.
everyone.
Have a
Bye,
good weekend, everyone.
guys. Have a nice
Bye.
Good week.
Joey, do you mind if I talk to you for a minute? I just had a quick question.
Yes, go for it.
Okay, cool. So I did my icebreaker the first time, and I think I'm just doing like the first pathway.
Mhm.
So my second speech, can it be about pretty much anything, or just do I
So
have to
you can-
follow a certain guideline?
So have you gotten into pathways?
Yes.
Okay.
It's kind of confusing though sometimes. So
I
I
know.
just wanted some clarification on that.
So the second speech should be about taking what your first speech was, the
Uh-huh.
feedback you got, and then
Mhm.
you bring in the changes.
Okay,
you
that's what I thought.
Yeah, you can redo your first speech just with the changes of the feedback that you received from your evaluator. Yeah. So
Okay.
it's super simple. You can actually, can't remember what the third speech, what it is, but you pretty much can get through the first 3 speeches with the one speech, with the same speech. You just keep adjusting it and molding it and that kind of thing. So that's what you should be about. Just go through that, that whole thing where you got to click to the next slide, and read everything, go through it, and then do the thing. But I'm pretty sure that's what you're having to do, is just take your feedback and redo.
Okay, thank you so much for the clarification. That makes more sense.
You got it. All right, is that good? Okay. All right. Bye, everybody. Have a good week.